What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I do hope you are doing well. In today's video, I want to take a look into something special, and not just something special, but a game that is very special, near and dear to me, and that is Lord of the Rings Online, or Lotro to some of you that are more accustomed with the game. Lotro, in my opinion, needs absolutely no introduction. It's absolutely one of the longer running MMORPGs out there. It's kind of in its own hall of fame right now. It's actually kind of hard to believe that the game released circa 2007 and, well, we're here now in 2025, or, you know, maybe when you're watching this next year it could be 2026, so on and so forth, who knows. But I'm still talking about it, I'm still playing it, many people are still playing it and still falling in love with not just the game, but Middle-earth. There are a lot of reasons why I gravitate to singing the praises of games like Lord of the Rings Online and Dungeons and Dragons Online, and well, I think when I really break down the nitty-gritty of why that is in amongst all of the pros, I think it really just comes to a head that we live now in an era where MMOs just come and go. They are like passing ships, two buses passing each other in a lane. You know, we're at a point now where battle passes, microtransactions, they dominate the live gaming space, and it's easy to burn out on that sort of stuff. And whilst Lotro, of course, and DDO have their own elements of monetization for the good and some for the bad, you can't deny that these games have stood the test of time, and above all else, there is something really at the core of these games, particularly in Lotro, and that is passion. The game has a soul. So that said, in this video, what I want to do is kind of break down that soul a little bit and look at the elements that, I guess, bring that soul together. So to make it simple, let's break down 5 reasons why Lotro, to me at least, is still an amazing MMORPG in 2025, or whenever it is that you're watching this video. And also why, if you haven't tried it yet, you might want to take your first steps into Middle-earth yourself. So with that said, grab your lembas bread, make sure that you've had your second breakfast, because we're off on our own adventure. So first up, let's start with the obvious, the setting and the lore of the game. I mean, let's be honest, it really needs no introduction. It's definitely the most obvious reason why a lot of people, including myself, enjoy the game. Beyond this though, Lotro isn't just another fantasy MMO with generic elves or some made-up orcish race, some terrible spin-off. This is the core, this is the epitome of fantasy. This is the Middle-earth. This is Tolkien's world, Professor Tolkien's workings, which are brought to life with incredible care and detail by the team over at SSG, and then formerly Turbine. Unlike most MMOs that just throw a bunch of fantasy tropes at you, Lord of the Rings Online is actually steeped in authentic Tolkien lore. You're not just grinding quests for the sake of ticking them off. I personally find that each quest really is tailor-made, it's handcrafted. You are, for example, walking the same roads as your favourite characters, for example, such as Sam, Frodo, Aragorn, Gimli, Gandalf, the list goes on. You are part of the story, and the way they implement your character into this story is truly, truly fascinating. It's not just the people that you meet, you can actually go and visit certain locations that you can only dream or read of, for example, which is, of course, elements like the prancing pony in Bree. You can stand at the very black gate that we've all been terrified of and all read about, and you can stride and ride through the beautiful lapping fields of Rohan with the Rohirrim. And what's truly amazing to me is that the game just hasn't stopped expanding. In 2025, Lotro now covers more of Middle-earth than ever before. It's actually staggering, from the peaceful lands of Eriador to the very fiery plains of Mordor, all the way down to Umbar and Harad and way beyond. Standing Stone Games has kept the story cleverly moving forward with regular expansions and updates, and it's all written with the same respect for Tolkien's world. You've got to bear in mind that these guys have got certain limitations as to what they can portray in a digital format, but they do it very, very intelligently, and they actually adapt the story and their own story in a way that having an MMO setting for the story doesn't feel weird, it doesn't feel awkward. To me at least, Lotro feels less like a theme park MMO and more like stepping into a living and breathing novel, and I feel like that is very, very clever the way they've adapted that. I have said from the very beginning of me playing this game, and even now to this day, that if you're a Tolkien fan of any capacity, then honestly this is one of the closest experiences you'll ever get to living and breathing inside the books and inside these stories. Next up, no game is fully complete without a community, and this community in Lord of the Rings Online is truly fantastic. A lot of players for a lot of games will be biased to this. A lot of people will say the community here is fantastic, the likes of Final Fantasy XIV and Guild Wars 2, and whilst there are some elements of that, there are some elements of great communities in other games, I have to say, hand on heart, outside of any bias I'm really trying to avoid here, Lotro genuinely has one of the nicest, most welcoming, mature and creative player bases that I think I've personally ever seen, providing you stay away from world chat at certain times. But all jokes aside, the community is really great. Now, of course, as I mentioned, every MMO has its trolls. You're not going to escape that on the internet, but compared to most, Lord of the Rings Online players truly have this sense of camaraderie. People respect not only each other's playtime and experiences, but they also respect the source material and Tolkien, and of course SSG. You'll find for this reason that RPing in a lot of the servers, whether it be softcore or hardcore, is definitely prominent. People will name their characters aptly depending on where their character hails from, or for example they'll name it falling in line with the server or where they're most likely to hang out or what their family name might be. This game is not about flexing DPS meters, huge passes, or just talking trash in chat all the time. It's more about helping each other and kind of role-playing and just understanding that, pardon the pun, but everyone is on their own adventure. Everyone is celebrating the love of Tolkien's world, but in an online space. You'll often find spontaneous concerts in the likes of Weathertop in Bree. It is kind of wild, to be honest. There are players who will just stop mid-quest to just help a new adventurer figure out where they're going, because God knows, when I first started, I definitely needed it too. There are many times I'm playing this game that it just kind of feels like the community really gives me a vibe that MMOs used to have back in the early 2000s, when you think of classic World of Warcraft before kind of toxicity really took over and became the normal. There aren't many games, especially in the online space, that I would strive to go out of my way and find those social interactions or join guilds or kinships, but because of the community and because of the reception, I definitely find myself going out of my way to have those interactions in this game. Moving on to reason number 3, and I truly believe that there are some real unique gameplay systems that are specific to Lord of the Rings Online, or at least that Lord of the Rings Online fleshes out more than its competitors. Lotro really might be a classic MMO at its core, but it's definitely filled with features that I personally feel make it stand out. If you take the music system, for example, players can literally compose and perform music inside the game using real instruments, which is just cool by its very nature. Entire bands which are made up with real players have formed over the years and quite often and frequently hold live concerts that anyone can attend. You don't really see that stuff in the likes of World of Warcraft, and I guess I've only seen something similar in the likes of Final Fantasy XIV. Now, while slightly janky, there is also mounted combat, epic battles, skirmishes, and then of course you have the legendary item system where you can basically create your own epic weapon. You can rename it, pretty much customize it to what you want. This of course has gone through multiple iterations over the years, but it definitely remains a core part of customizing your journey and your experience in Middle-earth. Something I absolutely adore about this game is that it leans heavily into storytelling, and it's really not afraid to do so. If you're the sort of person that's not willing to sit back and relax for a moment and read some text, then by all means you can skip it, but you'll be missing out on really rich textured dialogue which fits the tone of Tolkien's Middle-earth. The epic quest lines, which are the game's main story essentially, are still some of the best narrative-driven MMO content out there. And whilst I have to admit that combat of course might feel slower compared to more modern action MMOs, there is a real depth and variety to those systems that does give the game its own charm, and it's just something you can't easily replicate elsewhere. On to reason number 4 that I personally feel Lord of the Rings Online is a fantastic MMO in said year would happen to be the dedication to modernizing this game with the limitations that the developers have got. Accessibility and modernization in any game in today's sphere is definitely a huge focal point, at least if you want to be successful and maintain a player base. And let's be honest, Lotro is an old game, it can be rough around the edges, but let's not forget that this game has gone through multiple iterations of itself and has been continually developed and upgraded as the years have passed. Now, of course, there are still a lot of people out there that will say the game looks dated, and I'm not going to rob you of that opinion, but to me there is a real charm. I've lived through a day and age of seeing these graphics as cutting edge at one point, and whilst they've definitely, seen better days as such, to me now my mindset is definitely more focused on the fact that this is more of an art style, it's a texture design. When we live in a day and age of Unreal Engine 5 and everything looking the same, it's quite nice to go back and look at something that's a bit more stylized. But leaning on nostalgia is only going to take us so far, so it's really quite cool to me to see that the developers are focusing on upgrading the character models and updating zones, supporting higher resolutions eventually, definitely focusing on performance improvements. That's a huge thing in the game right now, and they are also looking at implementing UI upgrades, which is huge for a lot of people, especially now as peripherals are only getting stronger and stronger. It's of course not going to compete with the next gen MMOs visually, but in my opinion, I don't really want it to. I think the real magic of these games is also allowing a small pocket of space for your mind to wander. We live in real life, we see the facts, we see the everyday stuff quite literally every day, so to jump into a game and get lost in it, I think it's important to allow that your mind can wander sometimes and kind of think of your own perspective, because someone once said to me, your perspective is reality, and I feel like that's really important. I must still state though that it is absolutely playable, and by no means is this game ugly, in my personal opinion. And you can call me a boomer, you can say I've got rose tinted glasses, but I truly believe there are some areas in Lotro that genuinely just look beautiful. On top of that, Lotro's business model has definitely become far more new player friendly as time has passed. Now, of course, people are going to say, well, you still got to pay for this and pay for that. Just hear me out for a moment, as I feel like this isn't talked about very often. There is, of course, a lot of things you can buy in Lotro. It's a live service game, the developers need to get paid, but I must say, more content year on year is being made either free or just easier to get. Look at recently, there is a coupon code which gives you access to a majority of the quest packs within the game, which I don't know many other developers or game studios that are willing to give away essentially their own revenue like that. There are also not many other studios that allow you to earn their own premium currency in-game via tasks that you just go out and complete whilst you're playing the game. Pretty much a majority of MMOs that I've played recently are either if you want to buy it, you have to give us money. There is no other way around this. A lot of the more recent expansions in Lotro even get put into the Lotro Point store, meaning that if you're willing to spend a bit of time and grind the Lotro points out or save them up, you can straight up buy expansions with in-game points. And I feel like it doesn't really get mentioned very often at all. It's very easy in today's day and age to feel like you're being nickel and dimed all the time and everything is pay to win, and I don't blame you for having that opinion, but when I see this opinion being shared with the likes of Lord of the Rings Online or DDO, for example, attached to it, it kind of sours my taste buds a little bit, because really it's a lot deeper than that. So yes, whilst Lotro does carry some of its old school design, kind of grounded roots, and yes, there are monetization elements within the game, it is also more approachable than it's ever been. Now, finishing up on reason number 5 kind of ties into what we've just been speaking about, and that is longevity and ongoing support, because the love and passion and creativity that is put into this game is second to none. As we mentioned at the start of the video, Lotro is nearly 2 decades old, and yet here we are. It's still getting updates, it's still getting expansions, and still seeing new players join all of the time. In an industry where games just get shut down within a few years, and sometimes some of them don't even make it past a few months, Lotro's staying power is truly impressive. The way that it's left its mark on the industry, it is clearly using a formula that works. The devs absolutely clearly care about the game and its community. Every year they bring out new storylines, balancing quality of life improvements, class reworks, and much more. And even now, as of the recording of this video, the game is set to receive yet another expansion known as Kingdoms of Harad. It only feels like a few months ago that Legacy of Morgoth got brought to us, but I absolutely admire the dedication, and there are a lot of people out there that are thankful for the consistent content. And also, let's not forget that the fact that Lotro has lasted this long does not only just show the passion of the developers, but also the loyalty of the fans, and God knows how we've been through the ringer at times. With the performance not always being ideal, it's definitely taken some tenacity from the player base to really kind of look past that. But I do feel like that speaks volumes for just how good the game is, even outside of its obvious flaws at times. Lotro essentially, at least to me, has become more than just an MMO. It's kind of like this living museum of Middle-earth. It's just always changing, it's always evolving. Anything you see, you can pretty much go and do. Anything you've read in the books, seen in the films, people you want to interact with, you can go, do, touch, feel. It is just a Tolkien nerd's paradise. So hopefully that has given you guys a bit of an insight, at least, to my 5 reasons, and there is a lot more, don't get me wrong, but 5 reasons why Lord of the Rings Online is still an amazing MMORPG in 2025 or said year, and why I truly believe if you haven't tried it yet, you absolutely should. I have enjoyed and always will enjoy the incredible setting of Middle-earth and Tolkien's vision displayed to us in a digital format and interwoven within the lore. I love the welcoming community, and of course the list goes on. Modernizing a game as old as Lord of the Rings Online is a nigh on impossible task. For every fix, there are 2 bugs. For every upgrade, there's a downgrade. And I feel like sometimes it takes a video like this, and perhaps people that share a similar sentiment, to look past some of the jank and just say thank you. Thank you, SSG, for all of your hard work, and genuinely thank you for developing and actively maintaining a game that a lot of us have yearned for since our childhoods. Because really, I know personally, if Lotro wasn't around, there would definitely be slim pickings to find something remotely similar. So with that said, I want to hear from you guys. Are you still playing Lotro in 2025? And if you are, what's your favourite part of the game? And if you've never tried Lotro before, then let me know why down below in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this sort of video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for more MMO stuff, whatever the big YouTubers tell you to do, and I'm not that sort of person. So yeah, enjoy. That's all I've got. Bye-bye.